Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, cats and dogs, welcome to another episode of the 94 Feet Podcast. Your boy B Zeke in the building. I'm here with my brother Kesey.
What's good people?
How y'all doing? We are missing a member of the 94 Feet Podcast today. He decided to go to a Bucks game instead of be here with his brothers. Now, I'm not going to sit here and bash this man while he's not here, but
Hey, now.
we will have some questions when he gets back. Because it was last minute. Yes, I'm putting you on Fun Street, Dre. This was last minute. This is live. So if you want to catch it on YouTube, you can.
All right, when somebody be waiting for you outside the parking lot, I don't want to hear no word. I don't want to hear nothing.
That is fine by me. Now, in the celebration of Dre's not being here, we're going to go ahead and skip injury report and get straight to the shoot around.
No injuries?
No injuries.
No injuries.
No injuries of significant knowledge that needs to be put out there. It's more Andre than it is me. Anyways, last night, the Los Angeles Lakers beat the Golden State Warriors 124-116. LeBron James went stupid. He had 56 points, 10 rebounds, and 3 assists. 6 from 11 from three-point range. He was really putting it up from anywhere. What is a bigger headline coming out of this game, Kesey? LeBron James needs to average 50 points per game for the rest of the season for the Lakers to make the playoffs? Or the Warriors aren't as good as we thought they were unless Draymond Green is on the team. I mean, not on the team, but on the floor.
Well, a little bit of both.
Mm-hmm.
LeBron James has to be Superman with that roster that they have. And Golden State ain't the same team without Draymond. I've been saying that for the last, 40 episodes.
I don't believe that, but I'll take your word for it.
I said it. You have to have that anchor. He's the anchor. Every team has an anchor that's successful.
I as much as it's just plain to see, you can see. I can't even deny it. I don't like Draymond Green. I'm not even gonna lie to you. I do not like Draymond.
Yeah, I know
Green.
you don't. I can tell by your expression.
But he is not only the anchor, he's the guy who is like he's the heart, he's the soul of this team.
That's the anchor. He's the heart and soul of your team, and he anchors your team. You know.
Okay, all right. I didn't think we were getting into particulars, but
okay.
I was just disappointed that they can't get it that they haven't been able to get it together. My thing about that game, because I watched it, and the Lakers, I feel like LeBron puts on a show when he wants to, and a lot of times, that could be, it just so happens to be 50. I think he was just hot from 3-point range and knocking them down. But usually when he puts on a show, it doesn't always add up to wins. So even if LeBron James did average 50 points for the rest of the season, I don't think that would necessarily get the Lakers to the playoffs. I think they're still outside looking in.
You think so?
Yeah.
They got the number 9 seed right now.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. I mean, they're still in the play-in.
Yeah. For right now. I mean, this is maybe this is the end to a 4-game losing streak.
Yeah, maybe this might be that boost that they needed to, get them going. That jumpstart that motor.
I hope so. I mean, Curry had 30.
Because that's tough to still win and Curry get 30.
That is still tough to win. And my thing about this is, like, nobody's really kind of talking about this because they kind of cut him a break. Klay Thompson, he isn't like I think that we all thought he was going to be coming in averaging like 20-25. Knocking them down, getting 30s here, 40 here, but it hasn't been that at all.
I kind of told you guys that
if you go back and listen. You did. I remember you saying that. I do remember you saying that it's been a slow burn, to say the least.
And I told you it was going to play a factor with those other players who've been playing that role that he played. Because Jordan Poole got his numbers last night.
I was just going to say the same thing. I was just going to go over the numbers, like him. I think Jordan Poole, he had 23. The rookie had 18. I'm not even going to try to pronounce his name. Wiggins had 14 and stuff like that. So it was one of those things where like Klay Thompson, he played like 30 minutes and he didn't have a good shooting night. I will say he didn't have a good shooting night. But
7 points
exactly.
from your starting shooting guard.
Yeah. And it just didn't look like Klay Thompson kind of looked like he should be coming off the bench. And all just
But when I said that, y'all looked at me crazy.
well,
you and your homeboy who ain't here
well,
today.
first of all, my homeboy is not here is a Golden State Warriors fan. So he was, and they was riding a high streak. When you Curry's riding that hot streak, everybody, Golden State, this is it. This is the year. Da, da, da. Even Stephen A, same thing. Golden State, this is the year. Da, da, da. So I get it, and they're still in good position. What they like third or second? No, they're in third. They're in third. Phoenix is in first. Memphis is number 2.
Are they in third still?
Yeah, they're in third right now. It's one of those things where they're in third right now. Because of that loss, they're in third.
They third, second, It ain't that big of a difference between them and Memphis.
It's not, but Memphis has been playing like really good ball. That's why I'm saying that. Because Memphis has been playing really good ball. They're trying to get out. They're not close to the number 1, but they've been playing better ball than Golden State has.
I have to admit it, dude. Watching Ja Morant, it's just like it's ridiculous, dude. Like the dude he's elite. He is an elite of the elite point guards of this next generation.
Of this next generation, or of this generation?
This next coming, you know what I'm saying? Like,
no, I know what you're saying. I'm asking you though. Are you saying for this generation? Are you saying for the next up and coming generation? Because he's part of that Jason Tatum, Trae Young, Luka Doncic.
That's the next generation.
Are you talking about that generation, or has he leaped them?
That next generation. He's the leader of that next generation because you still got a generation that's still here.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Like
Kevin Durant, James Harden.
I'm saying has he leaped them and gotten to the conversation with the Steph Currys, with the Devin Bookers?
No, because he hasn't done enough yet.
Okay, all right, that's all.
He's talent wise, he's up there with them, but now his talents have to do something to put him in that category with them. You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
Like he gotta win some playoff series. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Okay, I see what you're saying.
Because you can have there's plenty of players who have great seasons all year long, and then playoffs coming, they disappear.
That's true.
It's just what it is. So we'll see. And this playoffs will dictate a lot about what's next for his career and where he's labeled in his next career.
Yeah, it will. I'm looking forward to it. I'm actually looking forward to it. Moving on, you got like last week we talked briefly about Kyrie Irving probably coming back after the New York City lifted their mask mandate. But come the private sector mandate, it still restricts Kyrie Irving from entering the Barclays Center. And he still can't play in home games.
You said what happened?
So the city themselves lifted their mask mandate. The private sector, which is like Barclays' own private entity, said no, we still not letting people in about the vaccination. We still, if you not covering up or you not getting vaccinated, you can't come up in here. And that's still the thing they got going on. So with that being said, Kyrie Irving still can't play any home games.
I don't get it.
Like I don't get it either. I honestly didn't get it. I thought he was all good to go.
But ain't that owned by the team?
The city.
So the city
So it's the city. They lifted their mandate from.
So the state lifted their mandate, but the city didn't lift the mandate. Where the Barclays Center is.
They said private. Everybody keeps saying the private sector, and I assume private sector means they're talking about the Barclays Center. Or you can say that the business owners, because when you talk about the city, they talking about like restaurants and like open public spaces and stuff like that. But I thought, because if Milwaukee lifts theirs, Fires of Form is going to lift theirs too. But I guess they still standing strong on it. I don't know what that's about. But at the end of the day, Kyrie still can't play any home games.
Then what was the point of everybody talking about New York lifting the thing? He was all good then. That didn't make any sense. So clearly everybody didn't know what.
Well, I mean, this is two separate things. They just didn't lift it because they want Kyrie to play basketball. I'm sure that's a small part, but that's not why they lifted it, because the COVID-19 cases are starting to come down and such, and plus summertime's coming up, so everybody's gonna be outside. So, I believe it's coming right back around the corner. That's another story for another day, but I didn't get it at first, but that's what I kept reading. Every time I researched, it was the same thing, that Kyrie, even though he is, permitted in this walk around the city, they don't want him in the Barclays Center without no mask on. And I guess my question is, do you think he'll ever be able to play a home game this season?
It's a possibility, but with all this private sector stuff going on, who knows?
That's what I mean. And to be honest with you, the way the Brooklyn Nets season is turning out to be, I don't think I don't think he is the key for. I don't think he's the key. At first, I thought he was going to be the key. I mean, you put him, James Harden, and then Kevin Durant in the same building. I thought that would be, the go-to, that, we're gonna wrap all this up. We're gonna get back on track and make the play-in tournament, so on and so forth. But to me, honestly, they just look like a team. I don't say they should call it. They should call it, but another week or two of this, they need to call it.
But that's the thing, though. Like, they put all of that effort into talking about LeBron and the Lakers, who've been battling injuries all year too. They got healthy players. KD only been the only person who's really been out with injury. Yeah, and they in the same position as the Lakers right now.
Who? Brooklyn?
In the same position.
As far as disappointment goes?
Yeah. That's and what spot they in? They both in the ninth spot.
They are. I think that, but I guess the thing about that is, because I feel like when they beat the Bucks, they felt like, okay, we doing something. We're going to start this all over. And then they go to Boston. Night. That's what I was thinking too. Then they go to Boston. They didn't get blew out, but
they lost.
They lost. Tatum put a 50-piece on them. He was not playing. And it's one of those things where it was just very disappointing, because I know Kevin Durant, he had like 30. But that's what Kevin Durant do. He gets buckets. But I don't think this team is put together
to win. No,
not to win a championship. And then on top of that, just to add a little more to it, Ben Simmons got back problems. How he got those back problems, I have no idea. But he got back problems now, so he can't. I don't know when he gonna play. They're supposed to play Philadelphia on Thursday. He won't be there.
That's why they don't want him.
That's what I'm saying. He got back problems. That's why he won't be there.
I'm starting to think there's some politics in it. They don't want him to play in Philly right now. That's not the environment that he wants to play when he comes back. First, just think
that crossed my mind for a quick second. That crossed my mind.
Think about it though. Think about it though. Your first game you come back and play is against Philly, who traded you.
Yeah, that's the game you come in and shut everybody up.
No, that environment will be wicked for him.
This is my thing. He wouldn't even
listen.
What you think gonna happen when they go back to Barkley for James Harden? I don't think they go back to Barkley at all for the rest of the season.
Either way it goes.
Either way.
But his situation ain't the same as Ben Simmons.
Why?
Because Simmons ain't played no games for them.
Yeah, and he pretty much dogged the city out.
Basically, everybody knew Harden was gonna get up out of there. I knew it as soon as he got traded. It wasn't gonna last long.
I
said it from the jump.
When he got traded, when he first got there, I thought this was going to be a problem for the Bucks coming up. I thought this year especially was going to be a big problem for the Bucks. But James Harden is his own worst enemy. But my thing,
it's going to be a problem in Philly soon. They just ain't. They.
I don't think it's gonna be a problem in Philly because he wants to be. It seems like he wants to be.
He
there.
wanted to be in Brooklyn.
That's true.
But look how that ended.
He wants to be there as long as they winning.
Yeah, he want to be anywhere as long as they winning.
I mean, that goes back to what I was saying earlier about James Harden not taking accountable for himself. Go back and listen to that if you like. But it's one of those things where, as far as Kyrie goes, he is him and Kevin Durant kind of play to do the same thing. They can score a lot of buckets, but they're not.
They ain't guarding nobody.
They ain't guarding nobody. Like one of the things Stephen A. said, watching this game, it was like Stephen A. was like, "I'm glad he had 30, but why wasn't he guarding Jason Tatum? He's supposed to be 7'2" with a wingspan. So, what's up with that? Like, and I think one of the things is that with Kevin Durant, they kind of like hey, don't guard him because we want you still coming back from injury. I mean, on paper they have it adding Drogic.
But see, that's the thing though, that don't exist anymore, man. Where your best player feel like, you know what, I got you now. It's the end of the game.
You have to have the mentality.
Either you gonna bust my ass tonight, or I'm gonna bust yours.
And you have to have mentality though.
You gotta have. They don't have that mentality. That type of mentality is not around anymore.
Yeah, that's sad part. I agree.
Even
with
LeBron
you.
doesn't even have that mentality anymore. And he used to, and that was one of his things he used to do back in the day.
It did.
Like, I got your best defender.
Yeah.
I got your best player.
I mean, that type of stuff kind of went away with Kobe. I think Kobe was like the last guy to be like, "That's my man right there. I'm shutting him down, if need be."
Yeah, at the beginning, Kobe. The end, Kobe wasn't doing that.
Oh, he's too hurt for all that.
The end, Kobe was like, just give me the ball, get out the way.
Because he's too old. Plus, he's seen his squad. The Denver Nuggets are expecting Michael Porter Jr. to return to play in March sometime, and Jamal Murray is also expected to be back before the playoffs. The Denver Nuggets are currently in the sixth place. Does the Denver Nuggets need Michael Porter Jr. more, or do they need Jamal Murray more?
Does the Denver Nuggets need Michael Porter Jr.
or Jamal Murray more?
Murray. Hands down.
No questions about it?
Nah, no questions about it. They are struggling at that point guard position. That's the only reason they keep losing games. To me, they're struggling at the point guard position. I like Monty Morris, but he's not your starting point guard.
He's not. I will give you that.
He's that spark off the bench point guard. Like, come in and get some buckets.
Well, what about the reason I posed this question, and I added it a little bit, like, do they even need them at all? Because right now they're in sixth spot with just the reigning MVP, and DeMarcus Cousins has been playing good for them. They'd have the coaching for the Denver Nuggets is one of those guys who, to me, this year he really put his stamp into it. How they move the ball, they do a lot of high pick and rolls. The Joker by himself is holding his team down with the assists, with the rebounds, with the points. Like, if they get into this sixth spot, I wouldn't be surprised if he won MVP again. If they stay in this sixth spot.
But they just lost to the same team that people talked about the Lakers for losing to.
That's true. But you can't win them all. You can't win them all though.
Everything just contradicts itself sometimes.
Man. Okay, that's true. But let me ask you this question though: are you not impressed by the Denver Nuggets being in the sixth spot right now with the roster that they have? No. Why not?
No, because they should be higher than that with your MVP.
Yes and no, but he's the only one though. Like we just talked about.
You got the league MVP.
Okay.
He should get you to at least top 5 by himself.
Top 5 by himself?
By himself.
All right. Okay, now you're pushing it. Top 5 by himself?
If he's the league MVP.
When you're the league MVP, you're putting...
Because they got their whole roster except for Murray, basically.
And Michael Porter Jr.
Michael Porter Jr. didn't even show up really.
He did. He got paid all that money too. All right,
He
yeah.
hasn't even showed up to me, so I don't even consider that count. But if it was Giannis and them, everybody say is asking, well, what's the problem? What's going on over there in Milwaukee?
That's what I'm saying.
Because you know what I
So
mean.
that's what I mean.
When the Bucks were slipping, everybody wanted to know what's up with the reigning MVP the year before Joker won it.
Hey, that's a. I mean, I think it's a valid question. That's a valid question
Why is it certain standards hold to certain
because
players at certain times when it's
it depends on the situation, and everything depends on the situation. Because you're talking about, but I think just because you're MVP, I don't think you should be holding. You should hold your team down, but this isn't the 90s anymore. Like one guy can't just dominate and be not only the clear MVP but your team in first position. Like right now you have the Phoenix in the number one position, and then on the East you have I believe it's the Bulls. It might be that might be wrong, but either way it goes.
I don't think it's the Bulls.
No, the Heat. I'm sorry, it's the Heat. It's the Heat has the number one spot, and then on the East and then on the West is Phoenix Suns. Phoenix Suns do not have an MVP. I mean, they don't have a player in the MVP conversation.
Because they play together as a team. That's what makes them win.
The Heat,
They're not
that's
winning
you're
because
making my point though.
they
That's my point though.
yeah, I get it.
The Heat, same thing. No MVP no MVP person on their team. Now, I will say the East is a little bit closer in the standings than it is the West because you got the 76ers are hot on their heel, and you know Joel Embiid is in the MVP conversation. If he stays healthy, he might win it if he stays healthy. But I don't think the number one team should be like, okay, he has the MVP. I think the more you take away, because you're talking about, even though Michael Porter Jr. didn't show up, Jamal Murray is a significant part of this team. So when you take him away and you're still doing good, because if you talk about injuries or losing your leader, your best player, the Nets is a perfect example of a team who lost their best player, then they just started losing off top. They just started losing. Kevin Durant got hurt off top. They lose 11 in a row, and now they're in the I hope we make the playoffs position. So it's one of those things. It's one of those things where I don't think that the MVP should equal out to being the number one position or whatever. What? So are you saying Jamal Murray? But do you think you need him at all?
They need Jamal Murray. Jamal Murray is a X factor. He hit some big one before he got hurt. Jamal hit some big time shots. He made some big time plays for them, and I just hope he can come back and be as effective as he was. But I don't see it because like injuries take something out of you when you out long periods of time. As you see with the Klay Thompson situation, when you're out that amount of time, it takes a toll. Cause just think, he hasn't played none this year, and he was out since what last year?
I think it was right before the playoffs, wasn't it?
Was it right before the playoffs, or did
during,
he get hurt the first round?
It might have been the first round.
Either way it goes, it's close to a whole year.
It was close to a whole year. Yeah, close to a whole year. Either way it goes, and I agree with you. I'm trying to think. He is the X factor, and he is putting in a tremendous amount. And you know, I get it, but I don't know. I just kind of question it because
So he tore his ACL on April 12th.
Oh, okay.
That's what it says.
Okay, so it's coming up on a whole year.
It's coming up on a whole year since he's played ball.
See, the thing about it is Michael Porter Jr. is closer to coming back on the court like this month. Right now he's in the G League.
Is he?
Yeah, he's in the G League right now. Jamal Murray, from what I hear, he hasn't even been cleared to play any type of basketball. So, but I think that we look at sometimes the six, like if you're in the sixth position, you're an okay team. I think the Denver Nuggets, especially in the West, because they're stacked. The West is stacked. Is beyond their expectations. They've reached way beyond their expectations.
Who?
The Denver Nuggets, without Murray, and for them to still be in the position that they're in, picking up Aaron Gordon, I think they're in a phenomenal position.
I don't see them beating anybody in the series with that roster. I'm just gonna be honest. Let me be the one who say it.
What?
In a series, in a 7-game series, who can you see them beating in the Western Conference?
Utah.
Okay, just say all right now.
They're in the sixth spot.
Right now, let's just say they're in 6, right?
They'll be playing Golden State.
Do you think they'll beat Golden State in a 7-game series right now?
Probably not.
Do you think they'll beat Memphis in a 7-game series right now?
I give you that.
I see them
beating Utah, and I see them beating Dallas.
No, they will not beat Utah.
They
Dallas. Won't beat Utah.
Yes, they are.
They won't beat Utah.
Utah and Dallas. I see them beating both those teams.
No. Mitchell is too much.
Mitchell's what?
Mitchell too much.
Mitchell want to get out of there.
That don't mean he won't play.
And hold on a second. And then on top of that, I believe, we have to check me if I'm wrong on that, then the Denver Nuggets already beat Utah in the first round. I believe so. Was that last year?
I don't think so.
Did they lose? It was the first round or second round. One of the two. Who did Utah lose last year to?
Oh, yeah. Let's see.
Because I believe they beat because the Denver Nuggets usually get out of the first round.
They lost to Memphis last year.
In the first round?
I think it was the second round.
Oh, because Memphis upset
Utah,
and they lost, and Denver beat them.
Yep.
Okay, so with that being said, like I said before, I believe Denver can beat them. I believe Denver can beat them.
No, they played the Clippers next.
Who?
That's who they played next last year.
Who Denver did? Or they lost to the Clippers?
No, that's who beat Memphis.
Oh, the Clippers.
Yeah.
Okay, but who did Denver lose to?
Denver lost to the Grizzlies 2-4.
Ooh. All right, maybe I stand corrected.
Matter of fact, they won the first 2 games.
Who did?
And then Memphis won 4 straight.
Okay, that makes so no, I still stick by my statement.
So
I like Denver I would like Denver to beat Utah or Dallas. Because especially with Dallas, because they got a one-man show going on over there too. And then as far as Utah, I question their chemistry. When the push comes to shove, I question their chemistry.
Whose chemistry?
Utah's.
It's just in the playoffs, it's a different game. All of the stuff that you get away with during the regular season, it don't work in the playoffs like that. And a lot of people figure that out the hard way. Oh, I take that back. They beat Memphis first round.
Who did?
I'm looking at it now. I was looking at the thing the wrong way. They beat Memphis first round 4-1. Then they lost to the Clippers 4-2, Utah.
Okay. And
Denver beat Portland first round and got swept by the Phoenix Suns 4-0.
Okay, now see that's what I'm talking about though. Now when you talk about getting up there, of course, they ain't got nothing coming against Phoenix. They ain't got nothing coming against Phoenix. This year, I believe they don't have nothing coming against Memphis. But Golden State, they probably can beat Golden State, but I think I know they'll probably lose to Golden State. Now those first three teams, yes, you're right. But when it comes to Utah and Dallas, I think Denver has enough to beat them
No.
without Murray, without Michael Porter Jr.
Just think, without Murray last year, they couldn't even win a game on Phoenix. A game.
Yeah,
One game.
I get that.
So do you think they're going to do that? They might win a game against Utah, but they won't beat them in a series. Without Jamal Murray, they won't. And then even if he comes back this year, who's to say he'll be good enough to even get them out the first round?
This is my thing, though. But like I said before, if they're in the sixth spot, because last year when you lose them, when they lost them, it was kind of like sudden. You had to make adjustments. You already made the adjustments. The adjustments have been made. You got Aaron Gordon. They're probably going to keep on DeMarcus Cousins for the rest of the year. So they've already made the adjustments.
So do you think Cousins
Mm-hmm.
is going to play enough impact his role enough?
I think he's getting comfortable. He just dropped 30. He ain't did that in like 2-3 years. But the point is, he just dropped it.
Son got to shine on the dog ass sometimes, and it shined on his ass. If he come back and have another couple of 30-point games for the remainder of the season, at least 2 more, then I can say, okay.
Why you got to drop 30? What about 25-20?
He, for that team, he needs 30 to win. For them to win, he needs 30.
30?
30. Just like LeBron needs 50 for the Lakers to win. 50.
I mean, we'll see what happens, but I still stand by my statement. Moving on, Draymond Green said Laker fans are spoiled brats for booing LeBron James and the Lakers. Now, I want to make this statement clear. What he said. He said verbatim. I don't have the video, but he said it's on his podcast. He said, I thought that was pathetic. I thought it was extremely pathetic. I thought it was very distasteful from a fan base of an organization that has the most championships in the NBA. Let's not act like spoiled brats. It's okay to be spoiled. Like, yeah, y'all can 100% be spoiled. We all get spoiled by things at times at one point in our life or another. But let's not be brats. That was about as bratty as something that I've seen considering that this team just won a championship not even a full 2 years ago. Now that you're booing, I thought that was utterly ridiculous.
I'm going to have to agree with Draymond.
Of course you do.
I normally wouldn't, but think about it. They've been spoiled so much that when they lose, they don't know how to accept it. Who has more winning seasons than the Los Angeles Lakers have had?
But
their culture is winning.
Yes.
It's like a Boston culture was winning. And them not winning, their fans are starting to slip into that mode where they're upset because they're not getting where they used to be.
I mean, here's my thing about this. And I wanted to talk about this because with the third member of our crew, but he's not here today. So the reason I brought this up is because every time a team is doing bad and fans react in this manner, that spoiled brat theme comes out. And the thing about the spoiled brat thing is, as sports fans, we I don't say we're emotional, like Dre was saying. I just think that we expect certain things. And in Los Angeles, you're right. They expect wins. They expect championship. They expect showtime. So when you have the best player in the NBA and you have these 2 or 3, maybe 4 of the top 75 players on your roster, you expect wins. And when you don't get that, when you start to lose to teams, to everybody except for the Houston Rockets, yeah, it's time to start booing. It's time to start.
But they haven't just lost to them. They've won some games. I mean, don't get it twisted now.
Don't get it twisted. Are they not?
They've won some games.
Are they ninth position?
They are in ninth position, but they in the tough Western Conference. I mean,
A tough Western Conference. Let's
listen.
just talk about what we have on paper. Let's not talk about what it is. Let's talk about what we have on paper. On paper.
Okay, hold on. Just say this
Go
first.
ahead.
I'm gonna say this first. The number one seed in the East has 22 losses.
Yes.
Okay. The number one team in the West
Has 12.
has 12.
Yes.
The closest team to having 22 losses is in fourth place in the West.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
So if Miami was in the West, they'd be in fourth place right now.
Mm-hmm.
And that's the number one team in the East.
If I had $1 million, I wouldn't be sitting here.
Yeah, you would.
Maybe. But the point is,
yeah, you would. Because this is what you would do. We would do. What else would you do?
I have $1 million. I'll be probably somewhere doing cocaine off a yacht. I don't know. The point.
What?
There you go. So the point is,
you see, that's what's wrong. That's what's wrong. When niggas get money, they automatically resort to things they know they shouldn't be doing.
Cocaine off a yacht. Exactly. No, my thing is about that is it's you know what, when you break it down like that, you're right. The East, the West, and I get your point. The West is stacked. The West is stacked. So
why you think they all tried to get out the West? Because as soon as LeBron came over to the West,
we knew
out the East,
we knew it was gonna be a problem.
Guess what they did?
Stack up.
Durant got out the West so fast, he got on the first jet smoking out the West.
That's not why he left. What I'm saying.
Oh, really?
My point is,
Kyrie.
You trying to distract me with this LeBron logic?
No, I'm just saying. Think about it.
I'm thinking about it, and I get what you're saying, but you can't deny that the Lakers, you expect they have a reputation. They've been having this reputation since the 80s, since the 90s, and every time that even 2000 when it was Kobe's turn, and then every time that reputation gets, I don't want to say tarnished, but it gets a little ugly in LA, they rush, they panicking, they going crazy. Like when the last year when LeBron them lost in the play-in tournament, what's that, the first round? I think it was the play-in tournament. Was it the first round? The first round.
Yeah.
They lost in the first round. Everybody was like, up, do the whole roster over, drop everybody, get them up out of here. And now they're in a worse position than it was last year.
I ain't about the same. Yeah.
It is the same.
I ain't gonna, because I mean,
it's not a worse, but it's in the same thing.
My thing is, you almost gave Schroeder $90 million.
Look, if they would have gave him $90 million, they might be in a better position.
Really?
Yeah.
How?
What
difference do you think he would have made in that roster?
Do they not need a point guard?
No.
What?
They need some shooters.
That too.
They need some shooters.
But
the Lakers' biggest problem is they have no legitimate shooters. Carmelo is a scorer,
not a shooter.
Malik Monk is a scorer. Austin Reeves is a rookie doing good right now. That's it. He ain't doing great. He's doing good. Wayne Ellington, he's a shooter, but he wasn't even shooting good. Because he's too, I don't get it. Like, you built a roster full of scorers. You didn't build a roster full of shooters. That's what they needed, shooters. Because that's what wins in the league now, shooters.
Yeah.
If you ain't got a couple of shooters, you doomed. That's why Miami is so good in the East. They got some shooters.
They got shooters.
Duncan Robinson, Hero, they shooters.
There's some shooters. And I just...
Phoenix.
What? Okay, let me ask you this question because you're a Packer fan.
Here we go. Brace yourself, people.
Are you not a Packer fan?
Come on.
Packer fans are spoiled. Are they not? Because you have an expectation. And when
I wouldn't say spoiled. We have expectations, but we've been losing for some years. We ain't had a championship in 12 years, probably.
But every year, hey, Super Bowl, we expect to be there, or at least in the Super Bowl. We don't have to win it, but at least in it.
Okay.
Now, with that, what now?
Hold
With
on.
that being said,
Hold on, before you go
Go ahead.
further, you're a Dallas Cowboy fans, right?
Mm-hmm.
What is your expectation coming in every season?
My expectation?
Super Bowl or not?
No.
Nope. I want you to be 100% honest.
100% honest. I
You
do
think they
not.
get kicked the first round of the playoffs, second round of the playoffs every year?
I'll say this.
Come on,
I
be
don't
honest.
know. I do not expect for the Dallas Cowboys to be in the Super Bowl, but I do expect for us to at least be in the NFC Championship. So when we get bust out the first round, I'm like, dang. I'm like, boo.
What does that make you feel like?
Booing. That make me feel like booing. Does that make me a spoiled fan? No,
Yeah.
that makes me you're coming up. But hold on a second though. I feel like that because the roster we have. This isn't the Miami Dolphins. This is the basketball podcast, but this is the Miami Dolphins. We aren't the New York Jets. We have a good roster. So if I'm expecting good things from a good roster, Los Angeles Lakers, bringing it back to basketball, have a good roster. So if you're not giving me good results from a good roster, guess what? Boo, boo.
But the Lakers' biggest issue is health.
It's
said
health.
that coming in. If they could stay healthy all year, they would have been better than what they are. But they can't even stay healthy. They can't even keep their big three on the floor at the same time. No more than 18 games this year where all three were healthy and played together. You can't even pick a rhythm. You can't even pick up a rhythm in that amount of games, especially when it's spread out like 6 games here, 5 games here, 4 here, 2 here. They're not playing 18 straight games of consistency where they're all healthy. You started out the season missing some of your roster.
I mean, that's true. But the guys they were missing weren't an integral part of this team.
Who?
They were missing. Some of these guys still ain't played. Is it Young? None
That's
still
what I'm
ain't
saying.
played.
Like
None still ain't played.
None is a solid point guard.
He is, but he ain't played all year.
Why? Injury.
We got Anthony Davis, who
Trevor Ariza started out the season hurt. He just
getting back like a month. I mean, I get what you're saying,
these
but
are all of the role players that they were expecting to be there to make that roster what it was. But when injuries start playing a part in it, and then Davis goes down 5 games into the season, he misses 12 games.
Well, first of all,
he comes back.
It's not our fault that Anthony Davis
another 6 games. Then he's out another 14 games.
So
then he comes back again for 4 or 5 games, and then now he's back out again. He's supposed to be the anchor of that team, and he ain't even there. He's done missed over 30-something games this year.
That's true. And Anthony Davis is body is a piece of paper underneath that skin. I don't even know if it's bone. It's just a piece of paper.
No bones.
No bones, just piece of paper. Every time he turn around, he doing something to get hurt. My thing about that is,
and it's always the ankle with him.
Always the ankle. I mean, this is ridiculous. My thing is, that's not my problem. I'm a fan. Like honestly, that is not my problem. I expect my team to make adjustments. Like trade deadline, y'all did nothing. So it's starting to be more about the players than it is.
They had no assets to trade.
Come on,
because all you Laker fans,
Laker fans, they got one out of the big 3 producers.
They wanted everybody that's on that roster. The Laker fans wanted that.
So
they told LeBron.
Are you blaming the fans?
No, the Laker fans told him to go get Melo. They told him to take the Russell trade.
Are you sure you want to? Are you sure you're going down this road?
Yeah.
Are you sure you want to go down this road?
Yeah.
Who told him that? The fans?
The fans were pumped about that. Oh, we got Russell.
Oh, okay, so yeah, then don't say that the fans wanted him to go get Russell and them because we already know who.
Listen, I don't think he actually went out to search Russell. But hey,
what
do you want to see? If the GM come to you and say, "Do you want to see if this will work?" Sure, let's do it.
That's how you think that conversation went?
I'm pretty sure that's how.
Hey, LeBron, who you want to play with? I was thinking about Russell.
The only person we can get in right now is Russell. What do you think?
They could have got DeMar DeRozan.
Who?
DeRozan. DeMar DeRozan.
DeMar DeRozan is not a shooter. So then you
what? His mid game is butter.
But you already
now is he a 3-point shooter? No. Mid game, yes.
Him and LeBron is the same.
So is Westbrook.
They play the same position. Like
No, he plays a shooting guard. LeBron plays a small forward power.
DeRozan played the small forward.
He plays shooting guard,
He's
small
played
forward.
small forward.
They're wings. They're wings.
Majority of his career, he's played the 3.
2.
3.
When he played the 3.
The whole time he was in Toronto.
So he played the 2.
The whole time he was in the Spurs with San Antonio.
Back and forth.
Oh man, here you go.
I'm just saying, back and forth. Is he has
Either way it go.
Either way it go.
What they expected Russell Westbrook to come in and do, he hasn't done that part. So that's not on what everybody expected him to do.
But
that's on him as an individual. Like, you gotta check yourself at the door and be like, this is what they're looking for from me. But yet I'm doing this still. You can't get the results of what they asking you if you still keep doing what you're doing over here.
But my question,
that's just like telling a crackhead, you can't get off drugs unless you go to rehab, right?
Yeah.
But as long as you stay at the dope house, guess what? You're gonna stay on it, right?
It's true.
I hate to use that as a metaphor, but hey.
Yeah, Trey not here. It's cool. Okay, but my thing is, what's the difference between fans? What's the difference between spoiled fans and then fans who are just critical of their team? Because the Staples Center, once the place formerly known as the Staples Center, I don't know if it's Staples Center anymore. I don't know.
It's still called the Staples Center. What are you talking about?
I thought it was something else.
No, man.
That's the Clippers. Okay, my fault. That's the Clippers Stadium, the up and coming stadium. Okay, my bad.
And Golden State got their new stadium. That's what you're talking about.
That might have been what I was talking about. Either way,
Staples ain't going nowhere.
I thought Staples was going somewhere. Anyway, it don't matter. But the point is, what I'm thinking is this: if the I know I'm looking at that. That's what threw me off.
I'm like, what?
What I was going to say is that if you're talking about spoiled fans and fans who are just critical of their team, either way it goes, them tickets in Los Angeles at the Staples Center are not cheap. So if I'm paying $400 per seat, I expect to see some dubs. Okay, let's just cut the BS here. I'm not going to be, and you think I'm not going to boo you? If anything, the boos was them holding back.
The boos is a sign of disrespect.
The boos is a sign of disrespect.
What happened to the Mamba didn't get no boos when he finished out his career there.
Come on, that's different though. I'm gonna tell you why that's different.
Why?
That's different because the Mamba had a bunch of scrubs on his team. Everybody knew it, so it was like.
And LeBron got a bunch of injury-prone players and a point guard that gets 10 turnovers a game with 10 assists.
But that's not. With that being true, when we put these guys on paper, they're top 75. So Anthony Davis, top 75. Westbrook, top 75.
When they're healthy.
So is it the fans' fault? That's not the fans' fault. That's not the fans' problem.
It's not the athlete's fault either. Like, injuries happen. It's a part of the game.
So you telling me
you
fans
still ride or die?
Break?
You still have to ride or die for your soldiers.
I have to ride or die for my soldiers. I'm a paying customer.
Does that give you a right to boo them because they?
Yes.
No, it doesn't.
Because I clap when they're doing well. You get booed when you're doing wrong. That's been
you don't boo your team. Because then if that's the case, then we should have been booing at the Bucks games for those 10 years before their championship. We were not booing.
What?
They were not booing.
You never booed at a Bucks game?
No.
Never.
Never booed the Bucks.
Then what'd you say?
I went home and cussed out.
In private?
Yep. Mother, son of a God, mother, whatever you want to say. That's what I said at home. I never booed my home team. That's not culture. That's not the basketball culture. Regardless if you're 1-20 or you're 20-1, you don't boo your home team in your arena.
So
what type of example is that?
Mm-hmm.
What type of motivation is that?
Do better.
No. You think I'm gonna do better if you boo me?
If I'm booing you, I want you to do better. I'm not saying you suck. You might suck at the moment, but I want you to do better. I mean, my thing about Draymond Green saying all this is,
Because did they boo? Did they boo Golden State when they had a losing season after everybody left?
nah, we get you a break. You get a 2-year break.
So then the Lakers just got you a championship 2 years ago.
Mm-hmm.
So why didn't they get a break?
It was in the bubble. I think
Oh my God.
we're all stumped.
Is that banner still hung up?
We're all
Is that championship trophy still in the case?
We're all coming to the conclusion that it was in the bubble. I think we're all just starting to slowly come around to it was in the bubble.
No.
What?
With a healthy Davis, the Lakers are not as bad as they are. That's the biggest issue. Davis is not healthy. Dude, you can blow on him and he need crutches.
And only need crutches. He's out for
all you gotta do is go. Oop, Davis is out again, y'all. Every time I turn around, man.
I'm not gonna lie to you. I forgot he was injured until I see him in the boot, and I was just like, "Oh yeah, he is injured." Jesus Christ! But that's another story for the day. But I'm just saying that I think there is a time where a team can get booed at their home court.
No, you cannot do that.
Because as much as players want to hear cheers, you're going to have to get these boos too.
That's an unwritten rule.
That you don't boo your home team?
You don't boo your team.
I'll give you that.
That's an unwritten rule.
That is an unwritten rule. You don't boo your home team. I just feel like people displaying you're putting your disdain for the team out there. And booing is a nice way to do it. It's part of the game, it's part of being a competitive nature. You booing people. Matter of fact, they booing in high school. Guess what? Y'all booing me? All right, I'm gonna give y'all something to talk about. Trae Young. Oh, y'all booing me? Okay, I'm gonna give y'all something to talk about. And you shut him up.
And LeBron did it.
He did shut him up. And guess what? They were cheering right back for him. So I think it's one of the things we got to take the good with the bad. You can't just think it's all going to be all good all the time. And then for somebody like Draymond Green to say something like that and talking about how, spoiled and like this ridiculous and stuff like that. I'm like, man, y'all are from a disappointing season away from getting booed yourselves. So I would just pump your brakes, buddy.
Is that what you think?
Yeah, because they're not looking. They're not looking good. I'll tell you that much.
Because they got beat by the Lakers, so they're not looking good.
No, they on a 4-game losing streak. So they got beat by the Lakers. They've been beat by the Grizzlies. I think more than once. They've been beaten by a couple teams. So, while he's talking about, the Lakers shouldn't be booing them, y'all a good losing streak away from getting booed yourselves. Moving forward, Russell Westbrook got into a somewhat of a heated exchange with a reporter at a press conference. We're going to go ahead and play that for you real quick.
Dude.
But also knowing that when you conceived getting together with LeBron, AD, you had a vision of what that would look like basketball-wise. Has it been difficult for you to process the fact that it hasn't happened the way you guys envisioned it, and that you guys there have been blowouts, there have been boos, there's been everything that, probably everything's the opposite of what you envisioned. Has that been hard for you, especially considering your stature, your credentials, to absorb?
What did I envision?
I suppose I would have, but also know.
So after this little exchange between him and this reporter, we kind of cut it short because it's the same thing that just got ugly from there. But when he got into the exchange with the reporter, and the reporter had a good point, like just that we just got done talking about how this Laker team is stacked. And whether it's injuries or whatever the case may be, y'all are on a nice little yard. This season turned out horrible, and this is nowhere where y'all thought y'all was going to be.
But it's not as bad as people make it seem to be. They're not ridiculously horrible. I mean, they're not winning as many games as you would like, but they're not ridiculously, because it's some ridiculously horrible teams out here.
They're not even at 500. They're 8 games below it.
So if they're not at 500, that makes them ridiculously horrible.
For them.
So they're not at 16-49.
The-
49 losses is a lot of losses.
That is a lot of losses. Now, I assume you're referring to the Houston Rockets.
Nope.
Who are you referring to?
Orlando Magic.
The Orlando Magic. You can't name, let alone 3 good players on the Orlando Magic squad.
Okay, you got a point.
Okay.
Cut it out.
So the point is, my point is, when you have, like I said before, you have 4 of the top 75 players on your team.
But at the end of their careers, you're not getting them in their prime.
Did LeBron just score 56 points?
Did he score 56 points? When the last time LeBron scored 56 points?
Besides,
Go look at it. Go look it up.
Come on, man. That's not
that's
not a common occurrence.
I just want
with
you
any player.
I want you to think about it. When is the last time LeBron scored 56?
I don't know.
Kobe scored 60 something in his last year, and they were like 13 and 29.
Yeah, I remember that.
Do you remember that?
I do.
So it's possible.
It's possible. Anything is possible.
But he got 56, and they got the W on your homeboy team. So hey, it is what it is.
It is what it is. My point of bringing the whole thing up is this: a couple of things. Because Westbrook, he's been doing this a lot this season, and he be trying to act like he be giving these answers, or he be answering a question with a question to try to dodge the. Just come out and say it. Yeah, the season's been horrible. And I've been disappointed how the season turned out, but we're going to keep on pushing forward. Now, if he'd have said that, that'd have been in the conversation. Now, people have been ripped into it, probably. But don't sit here and talk about is the season over? You know the season is over.
It's not over. It ain't over until the fat lady sings. You ever heard that saying?
I have heard that saying. And let me tell you something. She's clearing out the podium. She's dusting it off. She's getting her voice together because she's about to blow the house away of how bad they've been stinking it up.
So,
and Mr. Turnover himself, quadruple double.
So just say this then. Okay. Yeah.
I know. Yeah. Middleton had 44 too.
44.
I know. Right?
Okay, but anyways,
we're gonna move forward. Go ahead.
Say they finish out the season in the 9th spot, because that's about where they'll finish. 9th, maybe 8th. Everybody comes back. Is that a team you want to play? Or is that a team that's the team you want to play?
Are you talking with everybody back?
With everybody back, everybody healthy for this start of the playoffs. Do you want to play them, or do you want to place? Let's just say,
I don't see a difference.
The Pelicans.
First of all, Pelicans playing some good ball. Let's start there.
I'm just saying they're going to finish out in around the same area. Those two teams, they're going to finish out 9-10 together. Would you rather play the Pelicans?
I'll take the Lakers.
Or would you rather play the Lakers?
Lakers.
So you would rather play Pelicans than to play playoff LeBron?
Yeah.
You have to understand that if everybody comes back healthy, that doesn't mean that they're on the same page. The chemistry is crappy as hell, and that's going to be the downfall. LeBron can give you 70, but you need the other 50 from a team that's not going to be consistent.
Shots fired,
just sum it up in a nutshell, bro.
Shots fired at me, huh? That's how you're going to do me? Shots fired at me?
They wasn't fired at you. I haven't wanted to use that, but they're not fired at you. They're fired at the Lakers. What I'm saying is when you talk about like but besides them all coming back, Westbrook still gonna give me 10 turnovers.
Because you got to think of
that's gonna turn into 20 points easily.
But think of it like this: they were on the verge of beating Phoenix last year in the first round of the playoffs until Anthony Davis went down because they were up 2-0.
That's right. You're right.
So anything's possible, right?
Anything is possible. And that's what they're holding on to.
And like Russell said, is the season over?
I think he was just being an ass. I honestly think he was just because every time you talk about, that's why I was saying like Russell always trying to do this I'm worried about my family. I'm not really, just the game is bigger than this. It's about my family, and I'm back at home and such and such and such. All right, Russell, we talking about the game. We talking about you having 10 turnovers, 10 points, 9 assists, and 7 boards. Do you want to talk about that? Well, this is big. What? My thing about that is when you talk about Russell and him answering these questions. Well, I'll say this. The reason I wanted to talk about this is because Stephen A was like, I don't even think he was like, Russell doesn't even deserve to be a Laker. I was like, ooh, that's kind
Who
of
said
hard.
that?
Stephen A.
Why?
He said it because the mentality of a Laker is winning. So when you say I didn't have the expectations to go into this, you're lying. You're lying to me in my face because you've seen that roster. You're not stupid. And you're like, oh, we finna ball. Because I guarantee you, if this was on the other, if that record was turned around and they were 35-24 or 35-28, and they were in six
they still would only be in 6 or 7 places.
They'd be in 6 or 7 places.
So,
but they'd be above 500. You'd be like, okay, let's even. So I'll bring it back. What if they had that? If they switched with Phoenix, they 51-12. You'd be like, oh yeah, this is what I expected. This is what I envisioned. This is what I envisioned when I came to
do you
LA.
think Russell will actually respond that way?
He should. Why not? If you're 51-12, why wouldn't you? Because right now you are. I don't want to put this all on his shoulder, but you're a big part of why they're losing this many games.
Why do you think it's just him, though?
I'm not saying it's just him. I'm saying he's a big part.
Why do you think he's the biggest part?
Because when you bring somebody over of his caliber, it changes the perception of your team. And when it changes the perception of your team, then, and you're not, or it changes the perception of the team, but you're not meeting the expectations, it gets fans booing. It gets reporters asking you slick comment or slick questions like that. I was going to say something else, but it gets them asking those kind of questions for you to sit there and say, "Ooh, season's not over yet." What?
It's not. That's being hopeful.
That's giving me. It's giving me because he answered with attitude. Is the season over? No. Is the season over? Okay, yeah, I thought. So once you answer my question is, what my expectations? Stop it, Russell. You know what your expectations should have been. You've seen your roster.
No, because all season, the reason he talks like that is because all season, all people do is put words in his mouth.
You
ever heard how the reporters talk to him?
I don't think people put words in his mouth. I think they're just looking at what they're seeing.
He's feeling like Birdman. You got to put some respect on my name, and I ain't gonna say it no more. That's what he's feeling, and that's the reason he responds the way he does. People are trying to tarnish how good of an athlete he has been, and it's taking a toll on him.
I can see that.
You know what I mean? And he's not able to produce because of the pressure people have put on him. Because mentally, he really wants to win. He really does want to win. It's just everybody has something to say about you and who you play with.
Mm-hmm.
He's in that same boat where, like LeBron, where all they've done is criticize him as soon as he walked on the floor.
Isn't part of his job?
But they don't criticize Curry like that. Yeah, they don't criticize K. They haven't criticized KD like that. I mean, nobody has been scrutinized the way those two players have in NBA history, especially LeBron.
LeBron and who? Westbrook?
Yeah. As soon as KD left him, man, they threw him to the trenches.
As soon as KD, first of all, KD was getting slack as soon as he got to Golden State. He was getting slack after they got the championship.
He joined a playoff championship contending team
was he
without him.
Though? But was he getting slack?
But the problem was they was kicking your butt, and you joined them.
That's the we're talking about. Was he getting slack
that first year? Then they stopped.
After he left,
the first year when he left, they did. But after that, it was over with.
And then on top of that, when he won the championship, and then a little bit, and then when he lost the championship, that's when they left him alone. When he lost the championship, that's when he left him alone. When he lost to Toronto, that's when he left him alone.
I've never seen a universe that look like the one we live in now, where everybody is looking for you to fail, and that's what Russell Westbrook is like
You think they
everybody.
looking for him to fail, or
ev-
he's giving them material? So this is one thing if you looking for you to fail. Is because LeBron, I get when
it's
you make
not.
that
It's
argument
not.
for LeBron,
I
I
was
get that.
not saying looking for him to fail, but that mentality of, oh yeah, he's going to fail. Oh, he's going to go to LA and mess up. Oh, he's going to do this. Oh, he's going to do that too. Oh, I knew he was going to get 10 points this year and 10 turnovers and 10 assists in a game.
I don't think they knew it, but we show was like, so what's up with this, Russell? I think people ask him, what's up with this? And he like, what's up with what? You had 10 turnovers. Yeah, I know. So what's up with it? You ain't never had a turnover? Okay, Russell, let me just, all right. I don't want to. What do you mean have I ever had a turnover? What? Okay, I get it. Diving more into Russell. The Los Angeles Lakers and Russell Westbrook have mutual interest in finding him a new home this offseason. What does the future hold for Westbrook?
I can tell you one thing: he won't be a Laker next year.
I know he won't be a Laker.
But where do you go?
I would like to see. To be honest with you, I would like to see him on a like a Chicago. I would like to see him maybe go back to OKC. I would like to see him go somewhere. I would like to see him go somewhere where he can dish the ball off and he doesn't have to be the main focus of the offense. And as a point guard, that's hard to do. But if you have a bunch of shooters around you, I think that it is very complimentary towards him. So I think that's for him going back to OKC, him going back to him going somewhere like Chicago, him going somewhere where he can stay healthy. Because there's one thing about Russell is he stays healthy. Somewhere he can stay healthy and can just find shooters. So, but I mean, when I say what is the future hold for him, do you see a team picking him up? I don't have to want you to know a team pick him up. Do you see him pick a team picking him up and him being a starter next year?
I can see someone trading for Russell on a team that's going into rebuild mode, just so they can have that superstar name to keep the seats filled still, but also be on that rebuilding mode and knowing that his contract is ending in a year after that. I can see them trading for him.
I can see him going to Houston. I can see him going back to Houston.
Ooh, I don't see that one.
You don't see that?
Because they got their hopes on Jalen Green. So why do you think John Wall ain't playing? Him and John Wall play the same position.
They're trying to get rid of John Wall.
I know. So why do you think would they bring him back in?
Okay, that's a bad example.
Been talked about on this show and all the 3.
He knew what he was doing. He wanted to talk about it.
I just thought I'm looking at places that he's been before. East Coast team. He was doing all right he finished the season all right in Washington, but he wasn't doing well there. He finished the season off all right though. They did make the play-in tournament. But so you do see him starting somewhere. You see him starting somewhere on a team next year.
I do. I just don't know where.
Okay. I kind of agree with that. I agree with that.
Is somebody, I mean, I could see him going to Portland.
Ooh.
I could see Portland taking on that contract for a year so that they can free up their books to get who they want.
And you mean get rid of Dame?
Yeah. Because Dame is gone too.
Dame
I don't see Dame staying another season.
Dame for Westbrook?
Dame for Westbrook. That could be a straight up deal because they both make around the same amount of money.
They do. Okay.
It's only going to, I'm going to tell you right now, it's only going to be a team that's in a rebuild mode. No championship contender team is going to take them. I'll tell you that right now. No championship team. I can't tell you one right now.
Okay. John Wall. So you got me thinking about John Wall. Bradley Beal wants to sign a 5-year, $246 million Superman contract with the Washington Wizards. What is the future hope for Bradley Beal if he signs that contract with the Washington Wizards?
Ooh, that's a big chunk.
It is a big chunk. I mean, do you see him? Because I don't say Bradley Beal he's in his prime, but he's also, I don't want to say injury prone, but this, because when Bill is in there playing game, he's a bucket. But when he's hurt, and he's usually out for a while. So, and my thing about when you sign this kind of contract with a team like Washington Wizards, because they're not contenders, I see you 2 years in asking to get out.
Man, that's a lot of money. That's close to $50 million a year.
That's what I'm saying. Like, but I see him but the team's not going anywhere.
So if your bill, is the money really worth it to be in a situation where you're going to be just like Dame again? Is it worth it to take all that money from the franchise and still be in a situation like Dame Dollar is in? Because if he signs that contract at 5 year, $246 million, who else can they sign then? Even though I know the salary caps go up every year for the next couple of years, who else can you get in there when you got some players on some contracts there already?
Well, I'll say this. So you got Porzingis, this is my prove it year. Well, this is not his next year will be his prove it year because he'll have a full year with Washington. They still got Kuzma. They still got, I mean, the Washington Wizards have a nice little okay team. They're, like I said, they're not contenders. At the beginning of the year, they had a real spark. That obviously has dwindled down tremendously. But in the midst of it, they're still hanging on by a thread. But I don't see them being contenders. And my thing about Bradley Beal signing this contract, you got to think about your future. You giving Washington quite a few years, over 10 years. Like you lasted through John Wall years, you lasted through Westbrook year. So it's now you're finna go Porzingis, and I don't see this team getting no better. So that's why I'm like, why would you sign this contract? And I get you want to be loyal, but nowadays that stuff is out the window.
Loyalty, it's not about loyalty anymore because that's a different era of basketball.
But
we're not in the era of loyalty with the team anymore.
We talked about that last week.
We talked about that last week. But I was going to say let's say he doesn't sign his contract. Do you see this kind of contract coming his way from somewhere else?
No.
What about Portland?
They can offer him money, but nobody can offer him as much money as the team he plays for currently.
Oh, yeah, I forgot.
So either way it go, he would never get that much from any other team. The most any other team probably could offer him is probably like $220. That's almost $30 million less.
So that's what I'm saying. So now you're talking about playing for money, or you talking about playing for a contender? Because if you're talking about playing for a contender, like Westbrook, the Los Angeles Lakers could use a player like Bradley Beal. I'm trying to think who else could. Philadelphia was trying to get him low key. They weren't trying to get him. Embiid wanted them to get him before they got Harden. The Brooklyn Nets could probably use another shooter because they're gonna probably get rid of Kyrie. So those.
Do you think they're gonna get rid of Kyrie?
Yeah, Kyrie's out of here. Kyrie's out of here. He won't get vaccinated. As long as he's a problem. He's more of a problem than he is a solution.
But the vaccination stuff is going to be done with.
Yeah, that's what everybody keeps saying.
So
they said that last summer. The point is that.
So you're saying all the mandates is coming back again?
I didn't say that.
I mean, that's what you're trying to say.
I didn't say that, but I'm maybe.
I doubt it. But we'll see.
We'll see what happens. And before we get up out of here, this is real quick. The NBA 75th anniversary team put out their rankings and stirred up a little tiny bit of kind of controversy.
Who did?
The 75th anniversary team. They had little rankings. And this is just the top 10. Just let me know if you have a problem with this, yes or no, then we'll wrap it up. I thought about it. Sometimes you miss out. We got number 1, Michael Jordan. We got number 2, LeBron. We got number 3, Kareem Abdul-Jabbar. We got number 4, Magic. We got number 5, Wilt Chamberlain. Got number 6, Bill Russell. Got number 7, Larry Bird. Got number 8, Tim Duncan. Got number 9, Oscar Robertson. And got number 10, Kobe Bryant. Do you have a problem with this top 10?
It's arguable,
It's definitely
But-
arguable.
but it's also can be valid too if you really want to go say it.
Do you have a problem with it?
I do.
You have a problem with it?
I do.
Good, go ahead.
Tim
What's your?
over Kobe.
You said what?
Tim over Kobe.
Okay, you have to step up to the mic for that.
That's my only problem.
Go ahead. Okay, what
Tim
is
Duncan is the best power forward in NBA history.
history?
History to me.
To me too.
He patented that backboard shot.
And here's my thing about the Kobe situation, because I didn't think I was gonna bring it up, but y'all brought it up. Kobe is cool, but to me, Kobe is always a middle child. He's not quite Mike, he's not quite LeBron. He's right there in the middle. Then on top of that, when you talk about Kobe didn't come in the game killing it. No one really wants to talk about that. He didn't come in the game killing it. He had to become a killer. And once he mastered that, that's when he was that guy. But before then, when he was sitting on the bench, watching Eddie Jones and them play, he wasn't that guy.
But you only took that one opportunity.
It
That-
took
and that's usually-
some years of opportunities. So that's my whole thing about Kobe being number 10. Tim Duncan, rookie of the year. Tim Duncan, most winningest power forward ever, and he's the best power forward ever to me. Oh, time out, Tone. Is that Dre?
It is.
No.
What do you think?
No.
I'm gonna send you the link, dude, to do the virtual.
Ain't no virtual. We finna wrap up. It's a wrap.
Hey, it's actually at the end of the show, bro.
So this is another episode.
They've already did
This
the
is
ending.
another episode of 94 Feet Podcast.
Wait, let the man speak. At least let. Okay, you are on speaker. Go.
Let me tell you something. First of all, if you throw one more dig, your banishment will extend. Okay, you throw one more shot, your banishment will extend. Okay, you keep it up. You keep it up.
Is anything I said was wrong? Are you not here? Did you miss out? Exactly.
All I'm saying.
And the fact that you gonna call Tone while we live on the air, you got some audacity.
I only answered it because it was this show.
I knew it was. As soon as he answered, he
I
said,
knew it was
"Hello."
too.
He was like, I know it is.
I know I leave when I get a phone call.
Look here, fam.
Just wait for him in the parking lot.
Okay, I'll be back next week. It's on and pop. Thank you, sir. Thank you.
It would not be.
Now
It
look what you
would.
done started. Now look what you done started.
Why?
I told you to save it for next week.
He should have been here.
All right, good people.
You
It has
knew
been
he was
another
watching.
good show.
This has been another episode of 94 Feet Podcast. Apparently next week is on and popping. But besides
That's
that,
the name of the episode too. Next week.
On and popping is the next episode.
but apparently you can always catch us on all social medias everywhere. You can stalk your ex, and you can also catch us on all platforms, streaming platforms.
iTunes, Spreaker.
iTunes, Audible, Spotify, iHeartRadio, wherever you listen to your podcast at.
Exactly, and all social media platforms except for TikTok because we are adults. Peace.
It's been a pleasure. Peace, good people.